Hello everyone, hope you are doing good. In this video, I will discuss about what is superclass for all classes in Java, what is exception hierarchy in Java, what is difference between checked and unchecked exceptions in Java, what is exception in Java. So let's get started. What is exception? An unwanted, unexpected event that disturbs normal flow of the application. Normal flow of the application called is called exception. Is called exception. What is exception? An unwanted, unexpected event that disturbs normal flow of the application is called an exception. So, what is superclass for all classes in Java? It is a object class. Object class. So, what is superclass for all classes in Java is object class. What is exception hierarchy in Java? So, exception hierarchy. Exception hierarchy. Exception hierarchy. All classes superclass for all classes is object class. So here object class, right? Throw throwable like all classes. Superclass for all classes is object like that. All exceptions superclass is throwable. Throwable divided into exception and error is called exception hierarchy. Is called exception hierarchy. Yeah. What is exception hierarchy? So here object class. Object class is a superclass for all classes. Throwable is the superclass of all exceptions. Throwable is divided into two, exception and error. Here throwable is divided into two parts, exception and error. Is called the exception hierarchy. Is called the exception hierarchy. Here this question is completed. What is difference between checked and unchecked exceptions in Java? Let's discuss about what is difference between checked and unchecked exceptions in Java. Here runtime exceptions. Runtime exceptions. Runtime exceptions is derived from the exception. See here. What is the difference between checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions? So checked exceptions. Exception under subclasses are checked exceptions. Runtime exceptions and its subclasses are unchecked exceptions. Here, runtime exceptions and its subclasses are unchecked exceptions. Here, runtime exceptions and its subclasses are called unchecked exceptions. Are called unchecked exceptions. Here, error and its subclasses are called unchecked exceptions. Errors and its subclasses are called unchecked exceptions. Are called unchecked exceptions. See here, what is the difference between checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions? Checked exceptions are therein under exception. Here, exception class inside are the checked exceptions. Unchecked exceptions are therein runtime exceptions under runtime exceptions and its classes are called unchecked exceptions. Errors and its subclasses are called unchecked exceptions. Examples here. Here I will tell example for checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. Checked exceptions are under the exception. So one is IO exception. IO exception is a checked exception. Unchecked exceptions. Unchecked exception examples are like arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, arithmetic exception and null pointer exception. Here, checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. What is checked exception? Definition is checked exception found at compile time. Checked exceptions found at compile time. I will give live example also. Checked exceptions found at compile time. Unchecked exceptions found at runtime. Unchecked exceptions found at runtime. Unchecked exceptions found at runtime. See here, in this video, we are called what is superclass for all classes in Java. Is called all class. Superclasses for all classes is update. What is exception hierarchy in Java? So exception hierarchy is for all exceptions, superclass is a throwable. It will derived into exception and error. Exception and error. This is the exception hierarchy. What is difference between checked and unchecked exceptions in Java? See here, under exception classes are called checked exceptions. Under runtime exceptions and errors are called unchecked exceptions. Here, runtime exceptions and its subclasses are called unchecked exceptions. Is called unchecked exceptions. Here, errors and its subclasses are called unchecked exceptions. So under runtime exceptions and errors are called unchecked exceptions. Here, error under classes are called checked exceptions. Example for the checked exceptions are IO exceptions. Example for the unchecked exceptions are arithmetic exception, null pointer exception. Checked exception found at compile time. Unchecked exception found at runtime. Let's go for example. I will show post checked exceptions. Here, checked exception found at compile time, right? Checked exceptions found at compile time. Here, suppose a.txt, some file I am passing in the string format. So f dot create file. Cut this one, main method. Create new file, semicolon. Here we got error. So here throws declaration surround with try catch. Here IO exception. What is this IO exception? It is a checked exception. That means checked exceptions found at compile time. So this is the IO exception is a checked exception. It is found at compile time. So we got compile time error, right? Here we got compile time error. We got compile time error, right? This is called checked exception. Unchecked exception. Here unchecked exceptions are called arithmetic exception and null pointer exception. Suppose I will now also post null pointer exception. Here 10 divided by 0. Here in compile time we are not getting any error. Control as this file, run as Java application. Here we got the arithmetic exception. That means this is the runtime exception. And another is suppose string name is equal to null. SYSO name dot length. Control as run as Java application. Here we got null pointer exception. That means these are arithmetic exception and null pointer exceptions are unchecked exceptions. Unchecked exceptions found at runtime. Unchecked exceptions found at runtime. Thank you for watching. For more videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you all.